Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Welcome back to Sada Education. We will continue to discuss time value of money in Islamic banking and finance. We know very well that Islamic banking products are mostly driven by debt financing, and therefore when we look at the selling price or the sale price of Murabaha or Tawarruk, there are two components. One component is the facility amount, which is the amount of money that we take from the bank, and the second component of sale price is the profit margin. So the profit margin is derived from the postponement of payment over the contracted time, right? So the profit margin is basically the product of the facility amount multiplied by the profit rate per annum and multiplied by the tenure, and therefore the profit margin is the profit generated from the system of installment payment. And therefore, when we look at installment payment, just like any loan payment where payment are made by installment, the time value of money must be examined, and how that would be relevant in the Islamic finance, and to what extent TVM is allowed or it is not allowed in Islamic finance, and if it is neutral or if it is a factor that may highlight or that may impair the Shariah compliant status of the product, then this matter should be discussed thoroughly, and so that we can have clarity and preciseness in our understanding about Islamic financial product. The issue here is not about whether time value of money is evil or immoral, or whether it is neutral. It is basically about wanting to know what is the reason, for the permissibility of charging higher prices when the payment are made by deferred sale. Because we don't have any disagreement among the Shariah scholar regarding the fact that credit price can be made higher than cash price. So, meaning that if we pay on cash basis, the price should be lower than if we pay on credit basis. So, if we buy, an iPhone on cash basis, the price may be, let's say, $4,000 or 4,000 ringgit. But if we were to pay it by installment, maybe the price will be higher than the cash price. And this is quite acceptable in the Islamic transaction. As we can see, for example, in Badai as-Sunai al-Kasani, saying that price will possibly rise due to its deferred payment. So when payment is done by installment or by a deferred manner, then the price can rise, meaning that the price can be more than the cash price. So Al-Kasani basically allow the credit price to be more than cash price. And then when we look at Ibn Rushd in the Bidayatul Mujtahid, the deferment for some period of time has a value in the price. So meaning that if the payment is deferred over some period of time, then the price will be much higher. So this is another dalil or evidence from Ibn Rushd that credit price can be made higher than cash price. And then we have from Al-Ghazali in the Al-Wajid, 5, which is paid in cash, is equal to 6, which is paid in deferred. So this dalil is even more precise, because it is mentioned in units. So if for cash purposes, the price is 5, and then if it is on deferred payment, the price is 6. Then we look at Ibn Taymiyyah, which is again one of the more staunch scholar in Ibn Taymiyyah, and he was saying that the period is part of the price. So the longer the period, the higher the price, the shorter the period, and the shorter is the price. And then we have here one more from Al-Mughni, Ibn Qadamah. This is the evidence that the price of time in sale and purchase has its portion in the price. Okay, meaning that the period of time, so the longer the period, the higher the price, and the shorter the period, the lower the price. And it is permissible for sale and purchase contract. So this is only qualified when the transaction is coming from a sale and purchase contract, and of course not from the loan contract. So this is a very good document, collection of dalil, and I took it from I think Dr. Zahruddin book, and I thank him for the compilation of the dalil that help us understand the so-called difficulty to ascertain the role of time, value of money in the pricing of Islamic sale. So what we can see here, that these early fatwas have actually allowed or have actually acknowledged and recognized time, value of money, as it has suggested that the longer the time, the longer the time period, the higher will be the price. So to some extent, these are the dalil that has provide support for the role of time, value of money in sale. Whether the sale is a spot sale or whether it is a deferred sale, then the credit price can be made higher than the cash price, and therefore the time value of money can explain, why the cash price is lower than the credit price, which we can discuss later. And but one caveat that we need to look into is in the last statement, when Ibn Qudamah was saying that it is permissible for sale and purchase contract, right? So this permissibility of charging higher price when the payment is deferred is only conditional upon sale price and not loan. So loan cannot be, if the contraction is based on the loan, then the entire discussion would not be meaningful, and therefore any increment from the loan is riba. But increment from a sale, a price increment based on time from a sale is allowable. So for that reason, we need to look carefully what is a sale, right? So we can see here that time value of money from sale is allowed based on the dalil we saw earlier, when the sale is able to fulfill all conditions in a valid sale. Okay, so we can just walk through some of the point here regarding sale. Of course, in fiqh mu'amalat, we look at a sale whereby it is valid when it is free from riba, free from gharar, free from gambling, and free from the transaction involving prohibited commodity. But from the legal side, we also will be looking at a few more important conditions. Number one, by definition, sale involves an exchange of goods for money or for a price. So a sale is not a loan. Sale is an exchange of goods for a price. And then before sale, the selling party is the legal owner of the goods. So the selling party can be a bank, it can be a merchant, if we are dealing with a non-banking company. But the idea here, the selling party must be the legitimate owner of the goods. And a sale is the transfer of ownership from the selling party to the buying party. So when a sale is executed, the ownership of the goods must move from the bank to the buying party, from the merchant to the buying party. And seller provides warranty for defects. This is under the Al-Kharaj Bidaman condition. And here, before making the sale, the selling party or the bank faces ownership risk, that is price risk from market movement. So when the bank is holding the goods that it intended to sell, that holding period will trigger some kind of risk to the bank, because the value of the asset may decline due to the market movement, and that would be the case when banks are required to hold or required to own the asset prior to the sale. Then that holding period is a danger to the bank, because any decline in the asset value will cause the bank some damages, and that loss will not be a good news to the banking business. And therefore, in banking, when we are looking at a sale, then that ownership risk that the bank take will trigger high capital charges, which many banks would not want to do, and therefore sometimes we can see that bank would want to avoid to do through sale due to the stress on capital. So it is important that the bank, in order for the bank to assume that the profit derived from the Murabaha or Tawarruk is legitimate and lawful, they must make sure that the sale undertaken through Murabaha and Tawarruk have actually fulfilled all the requirement of a valid sale, plus the requirement of ownership risk, that bank must uphold in order to ensure that the transaction is a sale, as required by one of the dalil here from Ibn Khudamah, that it is permissible for sale and purchase contract and not a loan contract. And therefore, by saying so, we must make sure that the bank is exposed to ownership risk under the pretext of al-gharam bi-ghunni, meaning that with profit come losses. We will further look into this matter as we can compare later on between the profit from sale and profit from Murabaha. And inshallah, I will see you again in the next program. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to share and comment and to subscribe. Thank you.